everybody, and welcome to the Reset Podcast. I'm your host, Laura Mignot, and we are back with my favorite experience every year, which is the 29 Days of Magic series, where I do this rather insane thing where I interview 29 amazing Black women from all walks of life for 29 straight days. And I am delighted to kick this series off with the amazing Clarita, who is a fantastic accountant and entrepreneur and the host of the Begin, Build, Blossom podcast. She is tremendous. I had an amazing time meeting her, and we're going to have a fantastic conversation. Welcome, Clarita.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here with you today.
I'm delighted to have you on the show. So I've been in this podcast for like 7 years, and the first question has been the same for 7 years. However, I'm changing a little bit with this new series of 29 Days of Magic. So, Clarita, what was your favorite job of all time?
I think my favorite job was the one that was not really a job, but I consider it that way. Back in my country, St. Lucia, I worked as a cashier while I was a teenager. And I basically manned this small shop within our community. So I got an opportunity to meet people who came in. I handled the money. Basically, I did a lot of things that helped me to be who I'm today. So I say not a job, just because it was not like the kind of job where you go in, get paid,
They
and all of
paid
that.
you. You
It
paid
was.
more than $1.
I'm sorry.
You paid more than $1.
Well, in a sense. My
That's so
mom was
no.
my mom was actually adamant that I don't get paid, but I got a lot of experience, and it was really great. But officially, when I look at corporate jobs, I would say one of the best jobs I had was working on the accounting team of a law firm. And the reason I love that is because of the community that I had there. They were the most amazing set of people to work with, and it was a very enriching experience. And we're still friends up to now, including in a WhatsApp chat. So that's how great it was for me.
Awesome. I think, as we all know, WhatsApp groups are the lifeblood of all of us, especially right now. And so
I would say so.
when you can keep those chats going, I mean, we're a part of one, and I can't remember. I think I'm in no less than 15. It's like how I talk to people now. So
I love it.
it really is quite good. Again, and you can be global, you can be anywhere, and tap into those conversations, which is great. Okay, so being a cashier and working for a law firm as an accountant. Got it. Okay, so Clarita, how did we get to be having this conversation? Like, what is your story?
Hmm. What is my story? Where do I start? Well, interestingly enough, you're interviewing me on a day that my daughter turned 6. So I'd like to start off
Oh,
by
you got with her happy birthday.
thank you. Yes, she'll be very happy to hear that. She's been waiting for a long time. She keeps saying she literally started counting down from the very first day. So it's been a year. So I will let her know. She's very, very excited. So I would say I'm just very proud to be her mom. I am an accountant that really enjoys the numbers. I am from a small community in St. Lucia called Labrie. So that really sums up who I am. Just I'm a family person who enjoys accounting work, and I also enjoy community building. So anybody who knows me would say probably my name is synonymous with community. I love being around people. I love bringing people together. I love giving back, and I love connecting people. So I would say that's who I am in a nutshell.
Awesome. Okay, so talk to me more about this community building. What got you into the idea that building communities was going to be so awesome?
It's just very natural. I grew up in a great community in Labrie, St. Lucia. It's all about community. That's just all what I've known. I grew up in a time where people looked out for each other. We would just run around the neighborhood and not care much because everybody was looking out for the other. And I grew up in a big family as well. So I actually have six siblings. I'm the seventh. So I am number three. People always ask me.
What order are you in? Yeah.
Yes, I am number three, and I am the only girl. So I grew up with a lot of boys. So people don't mess with me, you know.
Now, Clarita, you have six brothers.
I do.
So I'm assuming you know how to play every sport and can fight.
I can fight, but not some of the sports. I can fight and I can climb trees.
All very important skills. Uh,
Hmm.
okay, so all right. So how do you survive having six brothers? I have two, and oh my god, so and they're older.
It's it's fun. But I will say that there are two I would add. So I have two cousins. One of them being a girl, so I consider her my sister. So we grew up together. But she's my cousin. We grew up together, and she is, by all definition of the word, my sister.
Yeah.
But in terms of biological siblings, I do have six of them, and seven when I add my girl cousin's brother. So I know it gets a little complicated, but
It's
it goes back to
it's called
community.
privileged families. We all know what this is. I have plenty of people who I thought were cousins, but were actually not even relatives. So, and I
Oh.
know people who I call aunts who are not actually aunts. It's kind of the thing that we do as Caribbean people. So, not surprising.
Mhm.
Oh my, okay. I just see six brother. Oh my god. Okay. All right.
I
So,
wouldn't have it any other
and
way.
you would 100%
It's
same.
was such a beautiful experience. Up to this day, I
Same.
depend on them for just about everything.
Yeah, it's like we make fun of it a lot, but it's just like, yeah, I wouldn't trade them. It's fine. All right. So, okay. So we're in St. Lucia. Now you're in New York. So, what was your moment of reset?
I've had a few of these, but I would say my most recent is moving to New York. From St. Lucia, from St. Lucia, I moved to Louisiana, then I moved to Texas. From there, I moved to California, and I stayed in California for quite a while. At the time with my ex-husband. So since my divorce, which is probably about 1 or 2 years now, I can't even quite remember. Since my divorce, I actually moved. That's what brought me to New York because I have family here. So for me, that was a huge reset. It was not voluntarily so, but it was definitely one of those things that had a great impact. And that also led to me having my business, my daughter. So a lot of things happened within that time. And that was around COVID as well. I had my daughter in 2020. And between 2020 and now, so much has happened. The baby, the move, divorce. I'm having a new community out here in New York. I'm growing my business. I'm starting my podcast. So I would say that has been a big reset for me.
And what's the thing that you're most proud of out of that reset?
What's most proud? What am I most proud of? I will say being a good mom. Being able to still be that mom I always thought that I could be. So given all these transitions, not it's not the best way for a kid to start off their life, but I feel like I have been able to really give her a stable home. Even though it's now with a single mom, I've been able to give her that, and she's able to see me grow and be this strong yet vulnerable person. And yeah, and actually just released this morning an episode. It's just that it actually features my daughter where we're talking about business, and it shows I'm sorry.
Start them young.
Yes, yes. And it was just very important for me because it showed me how she's been seeing what I'm doing, and she's able to articulate that. And she says, I could see that you're happy, even though you don't spend as much time with me because you're working. But I could see what you're doing is having an impact. and that she loves it. So I can see that I'm in a very good example for my daughter. Given the given the circumstances, I was worried about, maybe I was worried about whether I'm making the right decision. Will this impact her in a negative way? But I'm realizing that at the end of the day, she has a good mom. She has stability, she has community, and she is loved. And that's what I'm most proud of.
Oh, fantastic. So when you're looking back on all the amazing things you've been able to do, what do you think you'd probably tell like 18-year-old Clarita?
Oh my gosh, 18-year-old Clarita. 18-year-old Clarita, I would tell her to continue being that bright star that you are. And the reason I say that is during that time that I talked about this transition, this reset, I became somebody I did not recognize. And that was somebody who was very, very fearful. I'm considering the trauma experience during this time, and somebody who doubted herself. And that is something that I didn't know could happen to me. So I would say to 18-year-old Clarita to just continue being that bright star, because you will count on that when times get hard and you will be looking for that person again. So I would thank her for being that person that I could go back to. And one of the things I did, talking about reset, I'm remembering one of the things that I did while I was going through all of this was actually go back to Labrie, St. Lucia. I hadn't been back in about 10 years. Living all the way in the West Coast, it's very difficult to
It's
fly back home. So one of the things I did when I moved to New York was actually just go home, and I went without my daughter, just by myself, and I realized how important that was for me. I was able to just kind of reconnect with myself because I felt like I had lost a lot of that. So to go back and see people who I hadn't seen it for a long time, and to remember that, and they remember that 18-year-old Clarita, and they, through them, I was able to reconnect with myself and rediscover that person. So it's just very interesting you asked me that, because that just brought up a lot for me, and it I was able to connect it to that reset as well.
It's why I always ask this question because it always happens. It is that thing we oftentimes forget, one, how awesome we are, two, how far we've come, and three, the joy that we have.
Hmm.
And oftentimes looking back on like that younger version of ourselves, it like had no clue.
I know.
If you said that child, they'd be like, "What? No, or what you'd become," because it's also very interesting that we think about like where we are in 2026. The fact that we're having this conversation on a thing called StreamYard, and we're in different places, and it's video,
Right.
and in a few minutes this can go online. Like, if you think about how insane that is from when we were all much younger, you realize how impactful and how much change can happen in a short amount of time, much less a longer period of time. So it's
Right.
always good to sort of look back and see how far we've come, and pat ourselves on the back, because especially as Black women, I mean, the years of doing this 29 days, it always happens. We're like, I'm like, yeah, you did all that. I forgot all about that. I'm like, no, look, like, look what you were able to do.
Yes, yes. And that's why it's really nice to have conversations like this, because probably you won't sit at home and just kind of think about that. But when somebody asks you that and you kind of have to dig a little deeper to figure that out and to answer that question, you get a chance to just reflect.
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, and one of the things we always talk, I always find really fascinating is that, like, talk to me about a time when you're like, there's no way I'm going to figure this out. And then you did.
Every day. I think, but
That's-
I think, it all goes back to that time again, 2020, when I made the decision to, I made a decision that changed everything for me. And that was a time I actually was a stay-at-home mom. So to make such a decision without having much of I didn't have a job to go to. So it made it a little easier, yes, to make that decision, but it also made it difficult because it's like, okay, so you're about to go become a single mom when you have no job per se. So I would say at that time I did think that things were, how would I, figure that out? And to move to New York where I had family, yes, but I had a little girl. I need to figure out school. I needed to figure out a community where I could raise her. I had friends, but they live kind of further out from where I am, or where I was at the time because I had moved in with my mom temporarily. And I just didn't know much in terms of, what community I would have. Yes, I had my family, but outside of that, I didn't know much more. I didn't have much of a plan. So I would say at that point, I didn't know. I was not sure I would figure it out. And also taking into consideration that there was a lot of emotional turmoil, there was a lot going on. So to make all those big decisions during that time, yes, at that time, I was not sure what things would look like. But going back to community, the fact that I had my family and the fact that people out here were just so open, so I mean, they just embraced us, and we were very happy here. My daughter has a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends as well. I have clients that I've met here, podcast guests. It's so different from where I started. And to think that I didn't know what it was going to be, but that this is what it is. If I had known that, I probably would not have been as worried as I was. But it's just good to see the other side of that.
Well, of course. I mean, as of any change, you're like, I don't know what's going to happen here. We're just going to roll with it and see what happens.
For
um,
sure.
so, question: so how? So, I mean, your story is so important and impactful, and I'm sure a lot of women will fully resonate with this story as well. So you pack up, go cross country, and like I know some people, but not many people. How did you find community here in New York? Because again, I think folks would love to know how you did that because but, everyone has different circumstances, and the more you know, the better.
Yes. And and to fall back on what you said as well, I think I hear that a lot where people say when you get to a certain age, it's very difficult to, make
Friends.
friends or good friends. But I did reflect on that some time ago and I realized for me it has not been a problem. So I think I would go, it's probably me, my personality, one. And two, I would say, um, I know I keep going back to my daughter, but kids really bring a lot of people into your life. So my daughter, a lot of the friends I've met here are friends that I met through my daughter's pre-K class. We joined a very small Montessori school near where I eventually ended up living, and they have been amazing. We are also still in a WhatsApp group even though she's moved on to another school and she's in kindergarten now. Those people just became such a backbone for us. And some of my best friends out here are parents of my daughter's friends. And they now, I think people are very generous when it comes to introducing you to other people within their network. So that has been great as well. And yeah, so I would say personality, one, and two, my daughter. She is a social butterfly. She talks to everybody. People love her. She loves people. She's always asking for a play date. So I will say those play dates when you're asking for play dates. Say yes, because you get to go to play date too with the parents. So if they're nice, you connect. And there we
See,
have it.
there you go. Look, listen. Use your child for your own friendships.
Why
This
not?
you did give birth to her. Like the least you can do is help you out some friends. Like I'm just saying, like this is not a bad
Hmm.
thing at all. No, but and I think again, it's just like giving folks more information as to like again how to think about this because I think you're right. We hear a lot about it's so hard to make friends when you're over the age of 30, 35, 40, whatever it may be. And I'll say it for myself, is that like I've made more really good friends, in the last 5, 6, 7 years. And it's like I always make the joke that I have like waves of friends, where it's like I have my friends from high school who I still adore, my friends from college who I still adore, and then I have my friends from like my life. Uh, and occasionally I put them when it's my birthday. I kind of mix all the groups together, and it's always kind of hilarious. 'Cause it's
You
like,
know, I really love that because I was listening to you and I'm thinking, yes, I have amazing friends from high school. And even though I went to high school in St. Lucia, a lot of them are actually in New York. So I'm able to connect with them. And then there are those friends that know you from in different seasons. So like friends who know me now didn't know me before I moved to New York. And I was a totally different person then. I was not a mom, I was a wife, and I enjoyed traveling. I was just a totally different person. But I just love that you mentioned that because it's nice to have the group of friends that you've had from a young age, but to be able to still be open and vulnerable and allow people into your space even as you get older. It doesn't always work out, but you have to try.
you have to try, and it's the seasons of your life, because it's like it's like folks will know you from when you're entrepreneur days, folks will know you from your mom's side of the universe, folks will know you from your accounting side of the universe, and they're all, and you're like the glue and the shining star of all of that. And it's so important for us to keep those open, concentric circles of friends going, because especially in these unprecedented times, it's so having friends, having new connections, being open to new things. Like that's how we met.
Yes.
It is so important right now, and I think we talk about the importance of community at this moment, and what that looks like, and how it doesn't have to be defined. It doesn't have to have, well, it must look like this, and it must have these end results. Versus, it's just
Mhm.
someone to go laugh and kiki with. It's someone to have a fun play that with your daughter with. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just as
Mhm.
long as you find ways to connect with other people. That's the most
Right.
imperative that you can have at this particular moment, now more than ever before.
Yes, it's so, so important.
I love that. So I think I know the answer to this question, but I want to ask it anyway. What's one thing you're really grateful for today?
I will say life. It's so interesting you asked this because just this morning, I have a friend who has a single moms club and again, community. And I'm just so grateful that she created that. Anyway, I sent a message in there this morning just telling them, at this time, the thing I'm most grateful for is just being alive. Not just, is being alive. Because this time last 6 years ago, I actually experienced what did they call it? Postpartum what is it? Postpartum preeclampsia.
Oh, wow.
So my daughter, after I gave birth, my daughter ended up in the NICU. I was in the ICU, and that was when onset of COVID. We didn't know what was happening, but I guess you can imagine the chaos that was happening before things were
It
announced.
was January, so everyone's like losing their minds. Oh my.
Yes, and we just didn't know. People were being tested for all kinds of stuff, and nobody knew what it was. So even going into the hospital during that time, it becomes. I remember having to wait because they said there was no room for me to come to deliver. So anyway, at the end of it all, after my daughter went home, I went home, and as a Black woman, for me, it became something very serious because I went into this hospital saying to myself, actually, I told my ex at the time, I need you to be my advocate just because I know all what they say about us. And I know that I'm a strong person, I'm independent and all of that, but I don't know what I would be like during childbirth. So I needed to know that there would be somebody to advocate for me. At the end of the day, I still ended up being, in my mind, I felt I still ended up being one of the statistics because I was sent home when I probably shouldn't have been. So I had to come back to find out that actually I was experiencing something very uh that could have ended up really bad. And so for me, I actually spent a lot some time in the ICU, and I reflected on that thinking this could have gone very differently. I could have ended up not being here to be here with my daughter. And that created something for me that I still don't know how to explain. So around this time every year, I always reflect on how grateful I am that I am here and I'm able to see my daughter. I'm able to experience this motherhood, the ups and the downs. And yeah, so I would just answer that gratitude. I'm just so grateful for life and for community, because without community, this would be a lot, this journey would have been a lot more difficult. So, yes, I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. One, we're really glad you're here. I also hate that again, Black women and Black maternal health. Ugh. Ugh. Getting advocates is obviously the key, and just treat us like human beings, doctors, hospitals, please, because we see so many stories that end up on the other side of this, which don't end well.
Mhm.
And we're glad that you're here.
Thank
Um,
you.
and so, my last question for you is: do you have a give or an ask of the audience? So, the give could be some advice, the ask could be use my accounting services. I don't care what it could be, but
Okay, maybe I can do a give and ask.
you can do both. I make the rules. You can do both.
Okay, so I would say give. I would love to give time with me. So I focus a lot on persons who are new in business. For instance, if you've had a business for 2 years, but you have not really had a chance to work on your accounting, I am the person you need to come see, because I have the patience. I believe in empowerment, education, and I'm just always happy to speak with new entrepreneurs or people who are growing their business, to help them put those accounting systems in place, and to just have that conversation that some people don't necessarily have the time, or some people don't really want to have those conversations with you. But I am here to do that. So I would say I'd like to give time. So maybe the first few people who will reach out, we can have a free consultation, or let's call it a conversation
Yes.
about your business and accounting. And ask, I would say, I would welcome you to subscribe to my podcast, Begin, Build, Blossom, and also to check out my website to see the accounting services. So I would say on YouTube, especially, just go at Begin, Build, Blossom. And my website is www.cmeaccountingllc.com. And thank you so much for taking the time to listen.
Awesome. Well, Clarita, you're wonderful. I adore you. It's been such a lovely conversation and hearing your incredible story. And I'm delighted to have you on the show as part of 29 Days of Magic. And we'll put all details in the show notes for folks to like, subscribe, and give a 5-star review to your podcast and mine. And put a link in for folks to connect with you. I'll take you up on your offer to give some conversations. Like I said, it was such a delight to have you on the show. And thank you for being part of 29 Days of Magic.
Okay. And thank you so much. I'm really glad that I got to meet you. And I just look forward to getting to know you even better. And just thank you so much for the community that you also have. And I'm able to be part of that. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, a pleasure. Happy to. And that is our show.